Hey everyone, welcome back to JDB Selects. If you haven't already, please like the video and hit the subscribe button. Also be sure to drop your tips in the comments below, I read them all and really enjoy it. And now that that's out of the way, let's get stuck into my round 25 tips for the 2022 NRL season. Now going over last week's results, we managed to tip 7 out of 8 games. The Knights couldn't get past the Titans, and it hurts even more that I changed my tip to the Titans but didn't update you guys in the comments. 7 out of 8 on the channel, but a perfect round for me nonetheless. Hopefully we can end the regular season strong and get another one this week. The final round of the regular season kicks off on Thursday night with the 5th placed Parramatta Eels hosting the 4th placed Melbourne Storm at CommBank Stadium, Sydney. The Eels broke the hearts of Broncos fans, piling on 53 points to 6 in another one-sided affair. Parramatta had a mammoth 62% of possession and got through 14 more sets than Brisbane. The Melbourne Storm were defeated by the Roosters, 18 points to 14 in a tough gritty contest that ended up being decided in the middle third. The Storm's performance was riddled with unforced errors and despite a late surge couldn't seal the deal. History may be on Parramatta's side, as they've never lost to Melbourne at CommBank in their 2 meetings at the ground. The Eels have also won 4 of the past 5, including 3 straight. With that being said, I'm still going to tip Melbourne by 1 to 12 points. I think they'll be looking to bounce back after last week's poor performance and are the more consistent side. The first Friday fixture has the 12th placed Canterbury Bulldogs taking on the 11th placed Manly Sea Eagles at Accor Stadium, Sydney. The Bulldogs couldn't upset the Cronulla Sharks last week, however only conceded 16 points in what was a messy contest, with 28 combined errors. The Dogs' defence held strong for much of the game, but they couldn't get any points of their own on the board. The Sea Eagles slumped to their 6th consecutive loss, with the Raiders dominating in a must-win game. Manly conceded 40 points and could only manage a single try for the second week running. Des Hasler's men are well and truly done for 2022. The Dogs have lost 8 of the past 9 games against Manly, including 7 straight. Manly have a terrible record at Accor Stadium, having only won 1 game in their last 12 visits to the stadium, and that single win was over the Dogs back in 2020. Both sides have already clocked off for 2020, but I have to pick one, so I'm going to take the Bulldogs by 1 to 12 points. And finally on Friday it's another blockbuster clash as the 6th placed Sydney Roosters take on the 7th placed South Sydney Rabbitohs at Allianz Stadium, Sydney. The Roosters extended their season-winning streak to 6 with a gritty 18 points to 14 win over the Storm in Melbourne. The Roosters never trailed in the match, however, it was on a knife edge right until the end, with captain James Tedesco making a brilliant try-saving tackle on Kenny Bromwich. The Rabbitohs got past the Cowboys rather unconvincingly. Neither side really did anything to write home about, however Souths did enough to secure the 2 points. Souths have won 4 straight against Eastern Suburbs, including a 12-point win all the way back in round 3. The Chooks have won 7 of the past 8 games against all opposition at Allianz Stadium, and the last time these two sides met here, the Roosters claimed a 12 points to 4 victory. I'm going to take the Roosters by 1 to 12 points. I think it's a high-scoring game as both sides love to attack, but I do think it's decided by 12 points or less. Super Saturday gets underway in Auckland, with the 14th placed Warriors hosting the 15th placed Gold Coast Titans at Mount Smart Stadium. The Warriors ended their Australian part of the season with a big loss to the minor Premier Panthers, going down 46 points to 12. Like most weeks, they couldn't offer much in offense and crumbled under repeated goal line pressure. The Titans managed to hold on against the Knights despite being down a man for 3/4 of the second half. The Titans' performance was dominant in the first half and gave their home fans a good send-off for the 2022 season. The Gold Coast have only won 3 times in their 12 trips to Mount Smart, with the Warriors having won 8 of the past 9 games in Auckland. You should already know by now what I'm going to tip, and that's Warriors 13+. And if you're in New Zealand, I'll see you in the South Stand. The action continues on Saturday, with the 10th placed St George Illawarra Dragons up against the 9th placed Brisbane Broncos at Netstrata Jubilee Stadium, Sydney. The Dragons somehow managed to pip the West Tigers at the post thanks to the boot of Zach Lomax. The Tigers looked home and hosed when a short dropout from the Dragons failed to go 10, which would have given them a penalty right in front. However, the ball was touched by the Tigers, which left the door open for the Dragons, who marched right through. The Broncos slipped out of the 8th thanks to a heavy defeat at the hands of the Parramatta Eels. Brisbane lost Adam Reynolds to an HIA early but never looked threatening, with their flimsy defence conceding 50-plus points for the second week in a row. St George have won 5 of the past 6 against Brisbane and have never lost to the Broncos at Kogarah in the NRL era, with Brisbane's last win at the ground coming back in 1998. Unfortunately for Broncos fans, I think the Dragons' winning ways continue and they beat Brisbane by 13+ and end their finals chances. And the final game on Super Saturday is a top 4 showdown between the third-placed North Queensland Cowboys and the first-placed Penrith Panthers at Queensland Country Bank Stadium, Townsville. The Cowboys' poor record against Sydney sides in New South Wales continued, going down 20 points to 10 against South Sydney. The Rabbits looked to be going through the motions in the second half before an outstanding try from Kyle Felt made it a one-score game. 2 late sin bins left the Cows short and allowed Sam Burgess to seal the win with 2 minutes left on the clock. The Panthers made light work of the Warriors at home last week, outscoring the Kiwis 46 points to 12. Despite conceding the opening try in the second minute, Penrith bounced back strong and looked back to their best with Jerome Luai back in the starting side. The Panthers are expected to rest a majority of their players, so my tip may change, but for now I'm taking the Panthers 1-12. The first game on Sunday sees the 13th-placed Newcastle Knights up against the second-placed Cronulla Sharks at McDonald Jones Stadium, Newcastle. The Knights couldn't get past the Gold Coast even with a one-man advantage for almost half the game. As has been the case all season, the Knights could only get it right in patches and failed to maintain any pressure or momentum. The Sharks secured the 2 points against the Bulldogs, however, it was far from convincing. Cronulla had 18 errors and less possession than Canterbury but were somehow still able to hold the Dogs scoreless. Newcastle have won 5 of the past 6 games against Cronulla, including 3 straight at home. However, the Knights have been awful in recent weeks and I've got to back the Sharks 13+ here. And the final game of the 2022 regular season is a must-win for the last-placed Canberra Raiders, who take on the 8th-placed Wests Tigers at Leichhardt Oval, Sydney. The Tigers absolutely blew it against the Dragons, conceding rookie errors and penalties which allowed them back into the contest and even gifted them the game-winning kick. Tough times to be a Tigers fan. The Raiders kept their finals hopes alive as they made a big statement against an abysmal Sea Eagles side, piling on 48 points to 6 in a completely one-sided affair. The Raiders never trailed, scoring 9 tries to 1, which most importantly, brought the side from a negative to a positive points differential. There isn't much more I need to say about this game. The Raiders have it all to play for and will be looking to thrash the Tigers, so I'm taking the Raiders 13+. So in summary, my tips for round 23 are the Storm, Bulldogs and Roosters 1-12. The Warriors and Dragons 13+. The Panthers 1-12. And the Sharks and Raiders 13+. Let me know in the comments below who you're tipping this week and your winning margins. And as always, if any of my tips change I will pin the comment to the video.